Hello! It is Saturday, day 3 of Fan Expo, and it is 2 p.m. We tried our best. We wanted to get out earlier, but you know, theme park for a week followed by 4 days of Fan Expo when you're in your 40s is really not that easy to do.
Plus, we just need rest, so you know what? It's not that bad because I don't think there's too many actual panel things we were planning. Because this year just, you know, for us at least wasn't as exciting as last year.
We did miss Marisa Tomei, who I would have really loved to see because I just love her. I think she's so funny and she's like such a good Italian representative in the art and culture community. But alas, sleep was more important. I think we also missed Ashley Eckstein. It is what it is.
We'll have another opportunity.
For sure. So now we're heading in. We are going to see how Saturday goes. It's looking to be a lot busier, at least in Toronto in general. There's a Jays game today. There's Fan Expo right next door. I believe one of our friends told us there's also a Lorcana competition just down the street on Queen Street. So there's a lot to do in Toronto this weekend, and we are here for it.
Yep.
Let's go. The Lego booth is popping right now. I think maybe there's a make and take happening at the moment. Here is the Mini World's end of the line. I am interested in seeing more from there. I just, like I said before, don't like waiting in lines.
You guys know everything?
Really digging these clothing pieces here. Today's the day that we make it rain. I picked up both of these exclusives, the Toronto Floral and the Darth Maul. James got that Darth Maul, and he also picked up this full tuxedo. Very cool. Are we going to spend lots of money this weekend?
On your command.
Yeah. I think that's a yes.
Unless that's like your whole...
The very worst thing you can do right now is bore me.
So they clearly opened up certain areas. Oh yeah. Where is it though? Is it just right here?
It's a ready or not, ladies.
Both of them.
Yeah. Did anyone else watch this as a kid? It is definitely a Canadian show that only Canadians would know, I'm guessing, but very cool. How cute. There's a photo op here where you get to borrow the hat, jacket, and whip of Indiana Jones for a photo. And there's like no line for it. we are in line for a interesting panel to me. This is transforming mental health narratives or concerns to compelling pop culture narratives. Not sure that I got the title exactly right on that one, but it's something that I'm really interested in because I am a huge fan of pop culture, plus I am a therapist, so these kind of crossover things are always really interesting to me. What are you hoping to take out of this one?
I'm just going to be curious more about the subject matter discussed and kind of interested to see how pop culture kind of plays into it. So for me, and also to kind of to support my wife and her interests, and you know, I'm very much interested in psychology things, so any sort of themed way you can get it, especially around the stuff I like to hear also.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to record and share a little bit with you guys, and if not, we will share our takeaways at the end.
I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress about, almost 15 years ago now, from something that happened to me on the job. I was the first one at the scene of a crash, and that's what set my trauma off, because I ignored it for years thinking that was just part of the job. And I had about 10 years ago, I had a really, really bad crash. And then a bounce back, and then growth back to where now I can sit in front of a room of strangers and tell this without bursting into tears. For Jack.
Hi, like you said, my name is Jack. I am his son. I am a teacher as well as dramaturge, so I'm very involved in theater as well. I am living with diagnosed depression, anxiety, and OCD, just from a variety of factors. And we both have, through various methods, transformed some of what we've lived with, a lot of the trauma we've gone through, into forms of creativity. And we're very happy to share so, and that's what we'll be doing today.
Is there anybody who absolutely considers themselves creative, who loves to put words on paper or draw or whatever? Okay. We figure most people who are going to end up in this environment today are some kind of creative. So you can turn that into fueling whatever it is you love. Aside from writing, for me, it's also cosplay. I do follow cosplay, and my cosplay character is a Brotherhood of Steel member who didn't like the way things were going in the Brotherhood and left. So I turned even that. It's really weird. I did my first cosplay competition in Chatham like 2 months ago, and I'm like a 50-year-old dude trying to fit in with all these like people who are way younger than me, and I placed third, which I was quite surprised at. And you can see I was surprised because they pulled me up on stage. I couldn't say anything. So anyway, all that to say that yes, mental health can be hell. Mental health issues can be, sometimes you feel like you're never going to get out of them, and all you can see is darkness. But when the time is right, and when you're ready, and when you have done the soul searching and the bearing of your soul that it takes, you can turn that trauma into incredible, multifaceted characters and stories.
This is not something that we're saying we are pioneering. Obviously not. That would be, ludicrous to say. There are constant stories in any media you consume that are involving these topics. Just in general, regarding more trauma and regrowth, Batman as a character doesn't, deal with it very healthily, but that is a form of trauma that is being processed.
The mental health.
The mental health panel was actually really, really good. It was two men, a father and a son, and the father was a first responder who has dealt with a lot of PTSD and trauma, and the son has lived experience with anxiety, OCD, and depression, and they both shared some really interesting and deep stories of their lives. It was just really fascinating. I videoed a lot of it, so I think we'll include some clips.
They also just shared, so it was really around kind of modern pop culture and kind of how mental health has manifested within media, like writing and shows, and like superheroes. Like a big premise of a lot of superheroes is them kind of bouncing back or dealing with said trauma. They just presented it in a very, I think, fascinating way. It was a father-son. The father is pre-millennial, so he's from a generation that he explicitly said are not comfortable talking about these things. Do not bring them up. It's not even considered okay to discuss it. And so he kind of broke against that mold a little, and now completely comfortable doing it. It was so fascinating, how they presented it. How they kind of made it relatable to whatever generation you're kind of from. And just the fact that it takes a lot for people to have the courage to kind of literally sign up to do a presentation and just be completely vulnerable in front of people. It's such an important thing in today that, the reality is all of us in some way or another have gone through it. It's very rare you're going to come across someone who's like, my life has been perfect and I don't even know what you're talking about. So yeah, he's written, the father is the main author. He's written a lot of books. I believe he has 2 that are more related around just kind of life, dealing.
They're nonfiction, his actual stories about his
advice
struggles.
And experience. And then one was a novel which was essentially a character based around the manifestation of his mental health. We've not read any of them,
but we did buy them, so we will be reading them.
We will be reading them. But it's super fascinating discussion.
We had a chance to talk to both of them afterwards as well, and just a great conversation that we had. And I'm really excited to dive into these books too.
I did catch a quick couple paragraphs of one of the more nonfiction, and it looks very fascinating. It's talking about workplace sort of stuff. And in fact, we could actually show you the covers if anyone.
And we'll also drop links and ways to get them down below too.
So look at the title of this one. This one is just very fascinating in itself because it from the few paragraphs I read, it's talking about those things that generally you should not do or things like that. And the paragraphs that I came across were really talking about like why it's actually okay to kind of do those things and why you should. My guess is it would probably stem along like that's kind of powerful growth for yourself to kind of stand against the norms and ask questions and why is it that way,
and
right?
Be authentic, be yourself.
Especially corporate culture. It's so kind of gross today that a lot of corporate culture is really like, don't talk about this, don't do this. At the end of the day, I get that businesses are trying to make money and whatnot, but you still have real human people working there with real feelings, and there's real impact on decisions and all those things made, that I think it's absolutely okay for employees to discuss those sorts of things and to discuss everything, right? Businesses should not be closed door. If you want to have public people with real, kind of mental thinking and mental health in there, then you should expect that those people are going to have real feelings and want to share those feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. So now Fan Expo is done for the day. We did run into our friend Nikki, which was awesome, so unexpected. But now there is a Roosevelt's meetup happy hour thing happening at Steamwhistle. So we are headed in to hang out. Look at all these amazing Roosevelts just hanging out in one section. All right, we are wrapping up day 3 of Fan Expo. We had an awesome night hanging out with the Roosevelt's crew. DTH surprised us with some pins. So I have a T-Rex Santa, and I also have super cool ice pop, which I feel is really significant because I believe that was Steve, the co-founder who passed away, his favorite design. And today is, this weekend was his birthday. So everyone has been wearing their ice pops if they have them, or their most meaningful Roosevelt. So I'm glad that the random pin that I ended up with was the ice pop. What did you get?
So I got one of the Roosevelt, I guess crest would be the best way.
Very cool.
And then I also got a flower.
I love that one.
These, by the way, are like super solid pins.
Yep.
And, you know, like just overall hanging out with the crew, like there's actually a lot of culture around it, and it's not just
It's
like
community.
fandom.
It's community.
yeah. And so that just made me kind of feel a little blessed tonight that we get to be a part of it outside of just buying the shirt and saying what's up.
Yeah.
You know, these are real people, and tonight was not even about talking about the shirts and all. It was just about getting to know each other and you know, aligning with your community. And so,
like, what other shirt brand or clothing brand is bringing the wearers of those shirts out for a meal and
just
for
to
a
connect.
hangout, just
Yeah,
to have fun.
they're not trying to sell you anything.
Yeah.
In fact, they're giving away half of their stuff to you while you're there. Like last night at the game, they were giving us baseball cards, which we saw the place that was selling them. Like Roosevelt's bought a box of these and was handing out retro cards that are, I
Just
think
for
it was
fun,
$10
just to-
a pack.
I don't know. I wasn't looking, but just to build community. And it's just so nice to be a part of something like that, a part of something that's just bigger than yourself.
Yes, definitely. Lots of fun. And as a result, I might actually get one
More
or two
shirts.
more tomorrow. Well, it's so much more expensive to get them in Canada just due to shipping. A lot of people do P.O. box them.
We don't have a P.O. box yet, but maybe we will.
Yeah. Although that definitely is foreshadowing the bank account getting crushed. But yeah, it is what it, you know what it is what it is. I feel great wearing these shirts. I love them. They are like the exact shirt I would think of if I was trying to make something for myself. They just do it a lot better than I probably would. So
they're awesome designs, really comfortable, really good quality.
It is a button-up shirt. They also do have golf. They have tee. They have shorts, hats, all the stuff. I personally, there's something good about myself they make me feel when I wear it.
Yeah. Now they need to bring lady skirts. Just
Don't
saying.
tell anyone. Have a good night, though.
Yes, this wraps up day 3. Tomorrow, stay tuned for our brand new artwork. Hello and happy Sunday.
Hey. Not so happy, actually.
Not so happy. So today is day 4 of Fan Expo. We were all stoked to get tattoos today, but alas, our artist had to cancel.
Well, our artist didn't have to cancel. Our artist messaged us this morning that essentially we would not be getting kind of what we wanted. They'd be able to put essentially just a picture they found online on us and not be able to include all the, you know, their style or even color, actually, they said. So we decided last second to kind of pull out because that's not really the vision we were looking for, nor was it really the expectation set. We did kind of like an initial meet and we were really excited, and then we went and met again and we're told, you know, like, we could do whatever you want and all that stuff. And so it's really unfortunate to find out essentially 2 hours before that that would not be the case. We'd be quite limited in time. There wouldn't be able to be any color or anything. And, you know, we just figured that's not how we wanted to do it.
Yeah, like, it's a tattoo. It's going to be permanently on our body. So we wanted to get what we wanted. And I think it's important to...
It would have been how we wanted, I guess.
And I think for a tattoo especially, it's important to not settle for less than what you're looking for, because this is something that's permanently on your body for the rest of your life. And so we had to make that tough decision. We really wanted to get tattoos, but we don't want to get tattoos that we don't want.
Yes.
So,
or for the sake of it.
Yeah. So we're going to attend some panels. We're going to find some new fun ways to pivot and enjoy the rest of the day, and we're starting with coffee.
And we went over and auditioned in front of Larry and Jerry. And Larry or Jerry said to me in the middle of the audition, stop. So for any actor who's been told stop in the middle of an audition, it usually doesn't go well. Doesn't go well. He goes over to the air conditioning, turns it a little higher, and says, "You're so funny, man, you're making me sweat." I got the job in my car that afternoon. I got the call, it was awesome. So that was my story.
The way I got cast and everything takes about 28 pages, but I'll try to truncate it. The bizarre thing was I was threatened by my acting teacher that if I didn't get an acting job in a certain amount of weeks, I would be kicked out of class. And I did all kinds of things in my panic, but one of the things I did was Jeffrey Tambor was in the master's class, and I asked him to introduce me to the casting director of the Larry Sanders Show, and he immediately set that up. And, I had a pretty good conversation with the guy because I was, for about 14 years, my day job was, I was a bail bondsman and a court investigator, and he had never heard that one before. So we talked more about the bail bond industry than my failing acting career. And so that went well for me. And a couple of weeks later, a friend of mine got me a job, audition for a one-line part on the Power Rangers. And I auditioned, and the next day, I was out to dinner right after work, and I got a call from this agent we used to have in those days, probably they still do, called warehouse agents, because they take on anybody and everybody, stick your picture in the warehouse somewhere, and hope that you'll go out and rustle up a job and they'll get 10%. But you get to have their logo on your resume, so it's kind of a sleazy, symbiotic relationship. Anyway, this agent calls me, and he goes, Larry, it's Mike, your agent? And I go, yeah, Mike, I know you are. What? And he goes, I got a call from the casting office of Seinfeld? Because the same guy that cast Larry Sanders also cast Seinfeld, a great man named Mark Hirschfeld that we all love. And I go, oh, cool. And he's going, yeah, I didn't submit you or anything, they just called. I said, Mike, you probably shouldn't be telling me that. I might think you're working for me. And I said, well, what is it? He goes, well, it's, all they can tell me is it's a character called the Soup Nazi. And they want a Middle Eastern accent, but there's nothing on paper for you to look at. And I said, okay, cool. And I just left dinner, went straight home, and I've always had to do accents all the way through college, theater and stuff, just because of the way I look. And I hadn't done a Middle Eastern accent, but I had Lawrence of Arabia on VHS, and I put it in. And there was this great scene where Omar Sharif said, "You're drifting, Lawrence. Stop drifting. Be warned." And I went, okay, that's my voice. And, I thought a bit about who this guy might be. I was a fan. I was a big fan of the show since season 3, since the parking garage episode. I really thought it was genius comedy, rarely seen. And so I figured I know the characters, they're gonna get on my bad side, so I'm probably a guy that pushes a soup cart through New York City, and they'll come up and I'll toss them out, or tell them they can't have soup. So I actually did say the phrase, you get no soup. And a friend of mine who called me on the phone said, that's funny. And I went, why? And he goes, he was a stand-up comedian, and he goes, just trust me, no soup, it's funny. Yeah. And I went, okay. So the next morning, I got ready to go, and I was gonna dress in blue jeans and an apron, and I decided to put on an army uniform. And I hadn't shaved in a few days, and I had the mustache, and my ex-wife, who is an actress, she thought that if she put a beret on my head, I'd look like Saddam Hussein. This was 1995. So I went in like that, and I read for Brian Myers, who was the casting associate, and he seemed to laugh. You know, there were 3 scenes on paper, and the first one actually did have "No Soup for You" in it. So I thought, that's got to be a good sign. And it went well, and then I got a call back when you go to read for Larry and Jerry and all the writers and producers and stuff. And you got that same call from, Larry, this is Mike, your agent. Did you audition for Seinfeld recently? And I said, yeah, Mike, you called me. And he's going, they want to see you again? And I'm going like, would you stop ending every sentence with a question mark? You're beginning to hurt my feelings. But I went in there and I just did what I did, and I found that there were 6 scenes instead of 3, which I hadn't looked at the second 3. And most actors know that you don't ice cold read. You go like, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't seen these. Can I step outside for a moment? But Jerry was cackling his head off, and I was thinking, I can't stop now, you know? So I just kept the next 3 scenes, I just read ice cold. And he kept laughing, and they asked me to wait outside, and there was a gentleman that was also reading, one other guy, but he was, to me, he was legendary, Richard Libertini, who I'm sure you guys know, and my phone's going off. And I thought, well, I have no chance to get it with him there, because he was famous for playing roles like that. And, I waited, and I went back in, and Jerry goes, man, I was really funny, but I don't understand why your character's so mean. Can you do it again and make him a little nicer? And so I went through all 6 scenes without a sound. I mean, if there was a cricket, it would have been a sound. And so at the end of it all, I just kind of, and Mark goes, don't leave. And I'm going like, why? Do you guys want to throw eggs at me or something, And so I walked out, and then after a while he came out and goes, okay, you can go. And I went, and I stopped at the payphone, I called my wife, I said, you're not going to believe this. I got close. I almost got cast on Seinfeld, And then I got a page from Mike the agent. Larry, you just got hired on Seinfeld? They want you to go to Soundstage 9? So I walked in, and Jerry just walks over to me. He goes, you know what, man? Forget about the direction I gave you. Just do what you did when you came in. For some reason, the newer the funnier. Yeah. And we've all had that experience with him that he has no ego about being right. He only cares what he thinks is funny.
Incomparable Marisa Tomei! How has Toronto been treating you? Have you had a good time this weekend?
I just got here this morning.
Okay, see? So busy, doing all the things. So hopefully you get a chance to see the city just a little bit, to enjoy it, take it in, especially as the season changes and it gets all pretty out. It's quite a lovely space for you. When it came to acting and deciding that this was something that you wanted to do, what sort of obstacles did you overcome to get into the industry?
Yeah, that's always the thing, right?
Right?
If you don't have any connections and you don't
gotta
know
be
anybody,
breaking down doors, come on
how
now.
is this gonna happen? Well, one of my aunties via marriage, she actually was a tap teacher. She was
awesome.
a great dancer, and she was a tap dance teacher, but she wasn't really in the business, but she kind of knew enough to help me put a headshot together and that kind of thing. And how did I wind up, how did I get into any of those acting classes? I don't remember really. I know that it was a challenge to figure out how do you get into the business part of it. I just there was I guess they still make it backstage. I don't know if they have it in Canada, but it was like you could audition. They'd hold open auditions.
Really?
And you could try to get something. And I did get a part on a soap opera at that time.
That's right.
One
Make some
thing
noise for that. Make some noise for that.
one thing kind of led to another that way.
I love
It's
it.
just really scrappy. Basically, like, and even back to the musicals thing, I would just audition for anything, even though it was like horrible. Like, it's just like, when those people who audition for musicals, they are so talented. They teach you that choreography in 30 seconds, and you have to know it. And I was
5, 6, 7, 8.
Like, I was in a farce. It was not working for me, but I tried. I was just like, it was stupidity of being young, you know.
So far, we have done a loop around the main floor of the North Building. We jumped in for the Seinfeld panel, and then we left that a little bit early so that we could get in line for the Marisa Tomei panel. I was really excited for Marisa Tomei.
Yeah, I was excited for all of them. The Seinfeld panel, Newman didn't show up, which I believe it was he was on the feature cover photo, in the center. So, but it's fine actually. A lot there was the Soup Nazi, and a lot of other kind of side characters. They were pretty interesting. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The Marisa Tomei was, I would honestly say, lackluster.
Apparently she flew in this morning from LA and just arrived on site.
And that basically meant that she had to leave 20 minutes early from something that was pre-scheduled, even though she got there on time. Overall, the oddest part about it was those pretty basic questions that probably every big actor is asked almost every time they do an interview. And she didn't really have answers for it. She was just like, I don't know.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So now I think we're just going to go find a snack and then maybe wander over to the South Building. And then the last panel of the day that I want to see today is Josh Gad. And I'm hoping that that's a really good, funny, fun, energetic one, because I absolutely love all of the roles that I've seen him in. And I hope him as a person translates to the roles in that kind of way, and that he
Not
brings...
so much Beauty and the Beast, but...
I would still love to see him in that kind of role.
Yeah, but it feels like that in person.
Funny.
I don't know if I would be as much of a fan of him. I probably, this is for everyone. It really, it sucks that someone you really like, if they're kind of shitty in real life, you're like, It does have some sort of effect, and you kind of pay with your dollars, and not to tell you honestly, Marisa Tomei wasn't a shitty person.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That being said, I don't think anyone was shitty.
She was just
she was a little low energy.
Yeah. So she just, and that's fine. You're not expected to be 100 every time.
Yeah.
And so that's totally fine. She's totally human. So I just in the future, I don't know if I would race to try to see a more social kind of interview like that if there was something else that I did want to see.
Yeah.
But no quote, I'll see her movies. She seems like a very lovely person. I don't think I'd get a lot from seeing these sort of things, and maybe there's questions you would have wanted asked, and to hear
she wasn't taking any audience questions for this panel either, so it just frames the experience a little bit as a fan, but I'm still glad
I'll still see your stuff. I just won't necessarily come and see you. Yeah.
try to catch Josh Gad's panel, and that'll be what wraps us out of Fan Expo 2024.
How many are ready to sing in summer though? Because that's going to happen. We're going to close out the panel with a song. So save your voices, okay? But I know you're going to be beautiful with it. I know you are, right? Yes, that's right. It is his first Comic-Con ever, so we got to make sure that he feels all the love, okay? So I want to hear it. Like if I say, welcome to the stage, Josh Gad, y'all going to say, he's not here yet, but that was good. That was really good. I am impressed. Yeah. So we had fan submitted questions, so they were all submitted online. So unfortunately, we won't be inviting live questions, although some of those fans may be in the room. So if you are, give yourself a shout out, like raise your hand, make some noise, like, woo, that's me. Anything like that is okay. Fan Expo Canada, are y'all ready to make some noise and show all the love to Mr. Josh Gad? We are so excited to have you with us. Super excited. We are big fans. I don't know if you know this. We are rabid for all of your work. Olaf might be a favorite. I'm not gonna lie. Is he a favorite? But overall, how has Toronto treated you this week?
It's treated me really well. I mean, you guys have been incredible. Forgive me, my voice is a little shot. I sound more like Ursula than Olaf today. But Toronto's one of my favorite places.
Love it.
I shot an independent film called Pixels here.
Makes me
and years ago, I shot another movie called The Rocker here, and I absolutely love it every time. I love coming back. It's one of my favorite cities.
Thank you so
And
much.
that's why I made this my first expo ever.
Come on!
The reason that I so wanted to play a Disney character was because in 1992, November of 92, I sat in the theater and I watched Aladdin for the first time.
Come on.
And I literally turned to my mom as Robin Williams finished You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. And I said, I'm going to do that one day. I want to do that one day. So the idea that this character has become, you know, this iconic thing was beyond my wildest dreams. Even though I said I wanted to do it, I never imagined he would become that famous. So it's been incredible. I never imagined it was going to be this big.
That's awesome.
And we made the movie, and the first time I saw it, we saw it at a screening on the Disney lot, and the movie finished, and my wife looked at me and she goes, and my wife hates everything I do. So
That's a good
I expected her to be like, this is hot garbage. She looked at me and she said, this is special. And I go, it is, right? She goes, no, like this is like old school Disney special.
Yes.
And so, you know, I grew up in the second golden age of Disney animation. Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. And I feel like we're in the third golden age right now, being a part of movies like Moana, Zootopia, modern day classics. It's a joy, it's a thrill, it's an honor.
I love it. Now,
You know, for me, I love a challenge. Right now, I think I can say this. I'm writing a movie called Spaceballs 2.
come on!
And so, the challenge with something like that is, this is an iconic film that means a lot to me as a fan. That means a lot to you as fans. So the challenge there is matching the fan expectation, doing something that not only achieves everything that Mel Brooks achieved with the first film, but that honors the legacy of Mel. And I try to take that approach with everything. When we were doing Frozen 2, I said to Chris and Jen, the directors, I said, it can't just be a rehash of what made the first one so good with regard to Olaf. He needs to grow. And I said, if in the first one, he is a toddler, then in the second one, he needs to be adolescent. He needs to be going through like the terrible twos. And so like, he's much more curious, right? Things like Samantha, that was all improv, because it was just, I wanted a different flavor. So with Frozen 3, I'm gonna challenge all of us to find new comedic avenues. So each one is different. I'm directing a movie I'm doing a movie about Chris Farley, one of my idols. And again, new challenge, new opportunity to challenge myself and hopefully challenge you guys as my fans to expect and see new things that you haven't seen from me. So that's what I love to achieve. I've been impaled was not something I ever thought would be in a Disney film. And it's like I keep daring them, and they keep calling my bluffs.
You're gonna learn.
Hopefully, one day they're gonna learn.
Frozen 14, you're like, okay, I'm done. Not doing it. Sarah Michelle from Facebook wants to know, is there a genre you haven't explored yet that you may be interested in trying?
I'm doing a lot of dramas. I just did 2 dramas that are coming out next year that I'm really excited about. I want to play a villain. It's like a genre. But I want to play a villain. So I kind of did in a crazy movie called Little Monsters, a horror film.
Love that one!
With Lupita Nyong'o. I played a crazy lunatic in that movie. But yeah, I think I want to play a villain. So Gaston is a villain. When I read the original script for Beauty and the Beast, the live action, we obviously, I read the script for the cartoon 20 years after it came out. I was like, oh, this is still good. When I read the live action script and they offered me that role, originally it was sort of just the cartoon character got slapped around and it was a bit. And I kind of was like, it's not for me because I wanted it to be something different. And to their credit, they really let me kind of run with that and make him more complicated, which I really enjoyed. So I don't really think of him as a villain. And he was a snowman. I'll tell you guys, I told this to somebody today. So there's a moment in the Beauty and the Beast cartoon where LeFou's covered with snow. It becomes a snowman. I tried desperately to get them to put me in snow in the film. And they were like, it's just too meta. That's the point.
Dang, that stinks. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. I Like Warm Hugs is one of those lines that transcends. So long after I'm gone,
which would be a long time
which whatever I'm fighting right now could be very soon. That line will still exist in the vernacular. I hope. I think it will.
Absolutely.
And that's why we do what we do, right? We want to give you guys something that you can come back to for years and years and years. It's surreal that a movie like Snow White that my grandparents saw in the theaters, and that my mom saw in the theater as a kid, and that I saw in the theater as a kid, and that my kids have seen in the theater as kids, is really incredible. That I have one of those, that I get to be in one of those. And no matter what crazy thing comes out of my mouth as Olaf. And there are plenty of batshit crazy things. I Like Warm Hugs is the essence and the epitome of that character. You know, and every time somebody comes up to me and says, "Can I get a warm hug?" It's so beautiful that, you know, people feel that, and it means something so spiritual to so many people. So take that, Frosty. We have a healthy competition.
All right, so I think we're gonna bring up this one. We got a video that we're gonna play along, and I want you guys to sing your freaking hearts out.
This is the first time I've been serenaded with one of my songs.
We got it. Come on, we gotta do it. We gotta do it.
Oh, she's standing up. All right, I love it.
Cold are both so intense. Put them together, it just makes sense. Winter's for them to stay and cuddle. Put me in summer and I'll be a happy snowman. It's summer. And that's a wrap on Fan Expo 2024.
Yes, lots of fun, I think. The best way to end it, we saw the Josh Gad panel.
That was awesome.
Not even that. He's just a really good dude, and that clearly shines through with his personality, the way he talks about things.
You can get the sense of gratitude for the roles that he's played and how he knows that he's now become such an iconic figure in so many people's lives, and he is very much appreciative of that, and it comes across.
Yeah, and like, it's not to put down the Marisa thing, but he was clearly still just very wowed about how his career has gone, all the experiences he gets to do, and is clearly so appreciative of the life that has developed from his fans.
And this was also his very first Fan Expo, so I think that
his first con.
So I think that really makes him just want to soak in all the moments and be present, and that also comes across in his panel.
Yeah, like, what a wonderful dude.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've loved his stuff ever since back before Disney stuff. So I've kind of recognized the type of actor he is personally. I'm sure a lot of other people have. So it was just really nice to kind of, you know, you get to see someone that you really appreciated, and all the things and feelings you thought for them turned out to be exactly what you expected. So that was a really nice way to end it. It was basically the thing you could do up until the very end of Fan Expo. So for me personally, great way to end it. Really
I agree. For me too. All in all, really great weekend. We didn't do everything that we thought we would do, but we still had a really great time doing what we did do.
Yeah, and Roosevelt's, huge shout out to them. They take huge care of their fans. You know, they took us out for 2 different nights. Love that crew too. We probably bothered them more as much as they let us this weekend. Also invested for all the stuff that really interested us. So we'll forever be fans of
What a
that.
costume. That's awesome.
Thanks for watching.
So thank you for watching. If you have anything to say about our weekend, drop us some comments down below. Please like, subscribe, and all the things, and we would be happy to catch up with you in a future video. Thanks so much. Bye.